what an exciting Ashes first test match, or what the hell was that? You know what? Let's decide. Yeah, I mean, a part of me wants to say, you know what, I'm absolutely shocked, I'm flabbergasted, I'm blown away. How on earth could this happen? But I feel like we all kind of knew this. Somewhere deep inside of us, this thought has definitely crossed our mind at least 10 times or 400 times, you know? Look, on my live stream, we spoke a little bit about this. England, very, very confident yesterday. Overconfident is probably the right word. It just wasn't necessary what they did here today. And you look at the dismissals of, for example, Harry Brook, Ollie Pope. Both of them played really well in the first innings, but you know, we can say a very similar thing about the South African series. Whether you play in the subcontinent, whether you play in Cena, doesn't really matter where you play in the world, the first innings total is always going to be important. Now, I know a lot of you are upset, especially people from India, like, you know, last week, oh, this is the worst pitch that's ever, I think Michael Vaughan said something along those lines, this is the worst pitch that's ever been made, you know, you deserve to lose, etc., etc., because it was such a rank turner. Yes, I feel like it is fair for you to be upset, and it is also fair for all of you to now sit and wait comfortably with a nice cup of chai to see if they're going to say the same thing about Perth. Now, I'm going to give you my opinion on this, and then we'll touch on Harry Brook, Ollie Pope, and Joe Root. Yeah, the disappointment of Joe Root in this test match was absolutely astronomical. Look, here's my point, guys. When India played in Perth, much tougher pitch, okay? Much tougher pitch, okay? That's my first point. Second point, if India, now I'm actually just going to say that Indian team, I'm not going to bring in this Indian team. Maybe you can bring in this Indian team and tell me how you feel this Indian team would have batted on this pitch. But I'm saying that Indian team, the game wouldn't have ended in 2 days, okay? I am willing to put money on that. That's how sure I am of it. And that's just the thing with Bazball, isn't it? Michael Vaughan himself called it. Yeah, they said they were going to come over here and play Bazball. And yeah, they brought the Bazball, but not the brains. You know, Bazball with brains is a phrase that's going around. I don't know if that kind of exists. We saw Ben Duckett, Zach Crawley in that first test match against India when they chased down a really, really big total. How at the start of that innings, their strike rates were 40, 45, 50. Why does it have to always be 100? Why? You know what I mean? The biggest joke for me is that, coming back to the pitch, yes, this wasn't such a terrible pitch, because traditionally in Australia, in South Africa, in England, you know, day 2 afternoon session, day 3, absolutely beautiful to bat. Okay, why do you think people score centuries in these countries? You know, how many Indian players have come to Australia and scored centuries? You have to apply yourself. You have to actually go out there and bat and adapt to conditions, you know, and you have to grit it out. You're not just going to get 100 here, although Travis Head, that was pretty remarkable. But guys, I do think conditions got better. And so England, I want to say England will shoot themselves in the foot, but the thing is, this isn't new. They've been doing this for how long now? For years. Yeah, I do not understand this. I think as an England fan, and there's actually quite a lot of England fans who support this way of cricket. I mean, yeah, you know, it's seriously, as a South African, I hate losing. So I don't understand that. But if anything, if England goes on to lose this series really, really bad, and then they still have Baz McCullum as their coach, I don't know. I honestly, I do not know. But coming back to Joe, and look, Joe Root is a much better player when he's not influenced by this Bazball antics. We've seen him many a times, him and Ben Stokes in England, not going the Bazball route, but going a more traditional route, you know, getting themselves in, playing an innings, building an innings. But yes, Harry Brook, Ollie Pope, you know, a wide delivery, 8th, 9th stump. I mean, that's just throwing your wicket away. If you're a Kohli fan, you would look at that and you would be like, that's terrible. That's exactly what Virat did. And it's something that you cannot fathom, how batters can just go out there and do it. They were still very much ahead of the game. They did not need to do that. But it's this, maybe it's also all of the ex-England players and a lot of people from England, like the level of overconfidence from the fans, from the ex-players, saying 4-0 to England. I mean, based on what? So now maybe as an England player, you wake up this morning and instead of just playing the game, now this ego comes onto your shoulder, and that's kind of what takes over. And that is, it's not a good look. And I will end off by saying this, and I think I'm being nice by saying this, but I do think that this batting lineup is capable of more than just all of them playing a number 6 role. Because this is the thing that I feel like people forget. Baz McCullum was the one guy who did that in his team. Imagine he told every single one of his New Zealand teammates, yeah, I think you guys should play like this. They would have looked at him and said, mate, no, don't be an idiot. So now every single player is playing like a number 6. I mean, Anyway, what were your thoughts on this test match? Look, we can't shy away from the fact that Mitchell Starc was amazing. He had to come in, and Cummins was in there, Hazelwood was in there. The bowlers supported him. You know, Boland, that 1 over was fantastic of him. England, that first bowling spell was phenomenal. The second one was, geez Louise. Guys, all over the place, setting a leg side field, but then just keep on bowling wide. I mean, with the entire offside, open sesame, you know, it's just there you go, score your runs. I mean, yeah, I don't know. They definitely woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, or like I said, they woke up with their ego lying next to them and they married it, and that's what we got, was just another Bazball special. But yeah, Travis Head, remarkable. And this is going to give Australia so much confidence now because, again, Hazelwood, Cummins, not even there. And this was an absolute whopping. Anyway, what were your thoughts?